We make our life a never-ending rehearsal, waiting for a turning point which will bring us happiness and fulfillment. But the longer we wait, the longer and the dustier our list of hopes and dreams becomes, and we stop even noticing that we are really living in a never-ending tomorrow. But actually, that tomorrow will end one day, turning into the past. Have we missed something? Yeah, we've missed the today. We've put it on hold, on delay. And in this video, I invite you to think how we can turn our tomorrows into todays, how we can break the circle of delayed moments. This is the second very important part of the video that I filmed about a couple of months ago, don't quite remember, and there I talk about what the delayed life syndrome is, where it comes from, and how to understand whether you are having one. If you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend doing that. You can find the link up there and in the description section. And this video is kindly sponsored by Buy Me a Coffee, and more about them later. The delayed life issue has been preoccupying my mind a lot lately. That's why I decided to revisit this topic, and I think I will revisit it even more, because the response that I got with the previous video made me realize how many of us suffer from delaying, postponing ourselves. But for the sake of what? In a nutshell, we delay our life, put it on hold, because we just simply don't allow ourselves to do what we can do and what we want to do, but we are waiting for some sign from above or from the world around. This can happen due to various reasons, and among them are such as tunnel vision, which is basically like having a very precious, super valuable idea that is the only one that matters to you, and everything else doesn't deserve your attention unless this and until this goal is reached. Or it can be fear of future, fear of a failure, perfectionism, not living your own life but living someone else's life. Or it can be rooted in our family traditions. And although you might be not feeling that tied to your family, there exists such a thing as blind family loyalty, which can be manifested even on a subconscious level. When it happens, we blindly support some certain lifestyles or decision-making processes that are inherent to our family. And I pretty well realized that my delayed life things and patterns are very, very closely related to my family traditions, and that I do have blind family loyalty. My parents, who lived under the Soviet regime, had a habit of saving everything best for the future, be it clothes or food or even events or some trips. And of course there were obvious practical reasons for that, such as pretty hard political regime, deficit of everything, and poverty. I remember one story that perfectly illustrates the delayed life syndrome from that time. One day my father managed to get a very fancy box of chocolate candies. I don't know how he did that, but that box of chocolate candies appeared in our apartment, and mother said that my brother and I cannot even touch it. She hid the box, but as we lived in a very tiny Soviet apartment, I knew where she used to hide all the best things for later, so it was impossible just to keep any secrets there. So of course I found it, and brother and I found a way how to open the box, making it seem untouched, and we ate half of the chocolate candies. Of course, everything secret becomes evident sooner or later, and we got our punishment, but the fact was that we were not waiting for tomorrow to enjoy chocolate candies. We just did it when we wanted. I'm still subconsciously copying my parents' behavior, and I don't allow myself to have enough today because I I'm afraid that I won't have enough tomorrow. And of course, it can be a great frugal way of living, but the fact is that we cannot even notice how the same patterns begin to affect other areas of our life. Delaying our relationships, romances, having family, changing career, moving to another city or country, starting a new business or hobby after all. We delay our life because we think that today is not a good moment for it. We could do what we want to, but we don't allow ourselves to. There is only one meaning of life, the act of living itself. Delayed life can be a pretty comfortable one. Within the most optimistic scenario, nothing serious will happen, you will feel safe and satisfied, and that's it. But within a pessimistic scenario, sooner or later you will realize that the turning point will never come, and then your delayed life finally turns into a wasted life. So, what can be done to turn the never-ending tomorrow into today? And here are some very easy to follow tips that I want to offer you. Try to bring yourself to the present moment as often as you can. All sorts of mindfulness practices are the best. Observe your breathing, get rid of automatic reactions, introduce new and unusual routines. And I personally find it very helpful, a technique that is often recommended for lucid dreaming training. It's about having a bracelet or just a simple thread tied around your wrist, and every time you look at it, you bring yourself to the present moment. Some people recommend setting an hourly alarm on your phone, but I personally find it very distracting, so I'm all for simplicity. And for me, like observing my breathing and looking at my bracelets works the best. Use all the best that you've been saving out of fear of wearing it out or breaking it. Declutter what no longer serves you and what you think can miraculously be of use in the future. Things are here to serve us now, today, and clothes can be eaten by moths, and precious, beautiful vases can be broken without even learning what it's like to hold spring flowers. Memento mori. We humans tend to live as if we are never going to die. This reluctancy to accept the only certainty lies so deep in us. But imagine what a different and probably better world we would have if all people remembered about transience and mortality and realized that they're here and now to enjoy this life and to make a difference for others, that they won't take anything away from it. Yeah, that would be definitely a better place. Yes, it can be a very dark thought, but it's very sobering. And you probably know at least one person who drastically changed their life in pursuit of some very deep and long dream just after they had a very life-threatening event. Use every chance. Some opportunities might be lost forever. If you know that you are living a delayed life scenario, don't rest assured that the best moment for self-realization and fulfillment is yet to come. I'm against forcing yourself to do anything that you don't want to do, but this is not the case with the delayed life syndrome. Do you remember a movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey? When I was 25 and I felt really stuck in life, I felt sad and old, which is pretty crazy, feeling old and at 25, but it did happen and I remember that feeling very, very well. So I decided to take the movie's advice and I began to accept all the chances, acquaintances, and possibilities that otherwise I would have rejected. And it changed my life in a pretty remarkable way. That was the decision that I have decided to take, and that was the turning point that changed everything. But of course, it's not a magic pill. We all have our unique and very personal stories. Just remember what you have been wanting for quite a while and what can potentially transform your life. I will take my creative career as an example and talk about some important decisions and very challenging decisions that I've taken. I've always wanted to create, but I never went to any kind of art school, and my initial education is pretty far away from art. I made my first non-embarrassing drawing only in my late 20s, and my first collage appeared when I was about 25. And now I'm 40, and I'm not a successful example of an artist. I'm just trying, I'm doing my best, and I am actually enjoying it. My mom drew very well, and she would draw awesome sketches while she was talking on the phone with her friends. And once she told me that she wanted to become a fashion designer, but then life happened. And I remembered her words, and then I have taken a decision that life won't happen to me, but I will happen to life. When I started this channel, I didn't have any good camera. I even didn't have a super duper iPhone. I just have a regular phone, and that's what I used. And as I felt very intimidated by launching my own website or going to a popular e-commerce platform, and I felt ready to share my art, but I didn't want to do that, the website and e-commerce platform thing, because it would require too much time and dedication and energy, and I was just simply afraid. And I've chosen a much easier and fulfilling way to do that. I decided to use Buy Me a Coffee service that is kindly sponsoring this video. And I started on the platform in November 2021, long before this official collaboration that I'm so happy about. Because my experience with them has been nothing but very smooth, easy, and amazing. Buy Me a Coffee is a service where anyone can create a page to get support from their followers and thus sustain their creative careers. You can actually customize what you want your donations to be: a cup of coffee, a slice of pizza, or anything else. For example, I've recently changed my coffee for a flower. It's a lovely, informal, and cute way to say thank you. Setting up a Buy Me a Coffee account is very easy. It can be done in minutes. And what is most important, it's absolutely free. You pay only 5% from each transaction you make. Offer your digital products here for free, for donation, or for a fixed price. I've just renewed my offer and have a couple of new collage postcards that are free and a set of printable affirmation cards. You can also make unique posts available to your supporters only, make podcasts, offer art commissions. The possibilities are huge. If you are pursuing a creative career, I encourage you not to put it on hold and just go ahead and create a Buy Me a Coffee account and see what happens. The link will be in the description section. Break one huge tomorrow into tiny todays. Make a list of things that you owe to yourself and rank them by doability and achievability. Start with the tiniest ones, the ones that will bring you instant results, and thus you will see that it's pretty easy to live your dreams and goals. Last October, when we just moved into this apartment, Brian bought a basketball. But since then we had been postponing going and playing in the courtyard because it was either too cold or too hot, or there were too many people outside, or we didn't have enough energy for that. But I think these days we should just go and do it. Although I'm not a great basketball player at all. All the tools and tips that I've mentioned here are for you if you do live a delayed life scenario. But if you don't be too hard on yourself. Although maybe you can benefit from these things also in some way. As long as anyone believes that his ideal and purpose is outside him, that it is above the clouds, in the past or in the future, he will go outside himself and seek fulfillment where it cannot be found. He will look for solutions and answers at very point, except where they can be found, in himself. Delayed or not, this life is what we have at this moment. It's the most true and precious thing. Let's not waste this treasure. Let's not be too frugal by saving everything best for the future. Let's be brave and free and inspiring. Let's share our experiences in the comments. Thank you so much for being here and watching, dear friends. As always, be safe and keep your heart open. And I will see you soon. Пока-пока.
He made it on the first try. Jeez. Take your time, love. There you go.